In today's video, I want to answer a question that was sent to me, which is about how you can stick to the day-to-day work you need to do, how you can, keep going and be persistent and do the work you need to do to get your business going. Hello, I'm Shane from IamImpact.com, and so this question was related to my concept of the grind. And if you're unfamiliar with that, I will link to more details below. But quite simply, it is the idea that what you need to do to accomplish anything is you need to build the right skills that you need for that. And to build those skills, you basically have to practice a lot. And I call it the grind because this is not necessarily a very pleasant process, right? This isn't something that's easy to do. Usually you start doing something, first of all, you're bad at it at the beginning, and you encounter obstacles and you kind of have to grind through those obstacles. Now, this question that was sent to me, I'm going to summarize it in the following. The question is, my problem isn't getting past the obstacles and doing the difficult things. My problem is the day-to-day repetition, is doing the same thing every day, getting up and doing the same work every day, even if it's pleasant work, even if I enjoy doing the work. That's, I want novelty, I want new things, and how do I stick to that? How do I be persistent and keep doing this stuff without getting bored and without chasing after novelty? Now, the way I see it, this is very much part of the grind. That's part of what makes it difficult, is that you will have to essentially, be disciplined and do things over and over again, and keep honing your craft and keep repeating the work you do so you can slowly get better at it. That's part of it. That's part of the challenge. And so and I think it's a good point. So I'm glad that this question came up, because sometimes it's almost easier to overcome this huge obstacle, right? You have this huge problem and you kind of push your way through it, right? You work hard to get through it. It can be easy in the sense that you have a clear problem in your way and you work to solve that problem. But then the long stretches where it's just work, without any dramatic turns of events, that's where you need discipline, and that can be very tough. But that is part of the grind. I mean, that's part of the reason I call it the grind and not just practice or something like that. Now, there are a lot of things that I could say about this, but I think that the most important thing is that, for example, I could say that you don't need motivation, you need discipline. That's, a quote you might have seen floating around. And that's, I think, characterizes the kind of quality you need quite well. Because people, I think, seek out too much motivation, and novelty is part of that, right? Oh, it's something new that keeps my attention. Where you go, no, the problem isn't that you're not motivated enough. The problem is that you're not disciplined enough. However, I want to take this a step further, because saying you need discipline, not motivation, is really just self-marketing. Okay, so maybe hearing that and maybe telling that to yourself is something that kicks you into action, that makes sense to you, where you go, oh yeah, I need more discipline and I'm going to be disciplined now and I'm going to do this. But really, the concept I use to think about these things is self-marketing. So when you're marketing, what you have to do is you have to find out who is the person you're talking to and what kind of a message can I present to them that will make them convert. So in other words, that will make them take action. So you have to have a clear understanding of who they are, and you have to test different messages to see what works. And this is something I apply one-to-one in my own life. If I want to change something, if I want to get something done, then I know that I need to frame that to myself in a way that works for me. An example of this is, for me, and this has come up on a couple of podcasts in the past, is one of the things is I abhor the idea of being average. And so whenever something is difficult or requires a lot of discipline, if I think to myself, well, this is where most people fail. Most people are too lazy, not disciplined enough, not hardworking enough to do this thing, and therefore I will do it, because if I stop here, if I stop at this common obstacle, I'm just doing the average thing and I'm doing what average people do. And for me, that's a strong marketing message, essentially. That's a message that I respond to. And you might hear the same thing and go, well, whatever. because it's not for everyone. And the same is, you know, with the thing you need discipline, not motivation. For some people that would be like, oh yeah, this is the thing that makes a difference. For other people it just won't work. So what I encourage you to do is find a way to frame this situation to yourself that works for yourself. So do self-marketing and test. It's like testing different headlines, right? For the thing you want to change, the thing you want to accomplish, test different headlines of how you tell yourself that story or how you think about it to see which one you respond to best. All right, so those are some more thoughts on the grind, and like I said, I'll link to the post about that below if you want to see the whole concept in more detail. So I'd love to hear your own thoughts about this, and also if you have any like self-marketing stuff, you know, think about how do you frame things to yourself, and maybe leave a comment telling me some of those. I'd love to hear how you think about these things and how you frame things to yourself to solve problems. All right, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.